Welcome to Under the Greenlight, where business owners share their story about entrepreneurship, open up about their greatest victories and challenges, and map out their journey from startup to success. And now here's your host, Dimry Henry, Managing Partner of Greenlight Tax Group.
Welcome to Under the Greenlight, a podcast about business owners for business owners. I'm your host, Dimry Henry, and this is our fearless co-host, Melanie Jennings. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what she's doing in a second, but I first want to introduce Dennis Kelley, founder and owner of VIP Total Health and Hydration. So really quick, we kind of see Melanie over there with a bag. Tell us a little bit about what she's doing, what's going on over there.
Okay, Melanie is getting an IV, obviously. The one that she's getting is called a Myers cocktail.
So this is like a cocktail, but not the kind of cocktail that we do at happy hour.
It's actually the anti-cocktail of what you do at happy hour. So yeah, what she's getting right now is pretty much the standard, one of the first IV cocktails that was developed, and pretty much anywhere you go, it's typically called a banana bag because it's yellow. But
so what's in this cocktail?
It has all the B vitamins that you could possibly imagine: B12, B5, B6. It has vitamin C, zinc, it's just chock full of probably, I think we counted 18 or 19 different natural vitamins that just will help her feel better, more energy, recover. Actually, honestly, the fluid itself is a big help. So
awesome.
It's the kind of like the Cadillac of
So how
IVs.
do you feel, Melanie?
Well, I feel energized right now.
Do you?
I'm like, you really expect me to sit here for 30 minutes?
Yeah.
I need to go work
So
out or something.
can you feel the fluids going through your veins?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, and
okay.
I taste the vitamins in my mouth, so I know there's vitamins there.
Okay, great. Well, we're going to be checking in on you throughout this podcast to see how you're doing. And
maybe some jumping jacks.
Yeah,
here
feel
in a
free to
second.
chime in though as we go. So, so let's just kind of get to it. So your website says regenerative medicine innovation meets treatment, cutting edge technology to safely heal tissue, joint damage without any side effects. So tell us, what does that mean? I mean, I know this is a small part of your practice, so you have a lot of other solutions that you provide. So tell me exactly, what is VIP Total Health Hydration? What do you do, and who are your customers?
Okay, so VIP Total Health and Hydration pretty much says it all. The VIP is that person that walks in the door.
Love that.
Total Health is our approach. Hydration, your body is 90% water anyways, so when you start running low on fluids, it affects everything you do, mentally, physically, emotionally. So replenishing the fluids is essential, but then on top of it, adding all the vitamins that most of us are deficient on anyways,
right.
Allows your body to have the strength to heal, take care of itself. It's an alternative to medicine in most cases. I've seen incidents where people will overexert themselves in a tennis tournament or doing something outside, and they go to the ER and they get an IV.
Right.
So if they're just getting an IV there that's basically just fluids, why not add all the vitamins and strengthen your body in the process?
Absolutely. So in a way, this is also preventative in a lot of cases, right? So even if maybe you're not feeling sick or there's not something wrong, we could still be needing extra vitamins and nutrients and have a depletion. And so this is a way to make sure that we stay healthy and stay strong and maybe don't get hurt or don't get sick. Is that
Stay
true?
out of the hospital. Stay away from the meds. Absolutely.
Right.
Your body has typically what it needs to take care of itself, but we overexert and we use that stuff up and we don't replenish.
Yes.
This does this for you.
So I know a little bit about your business because you happen to be a client of ours, and I think it's really fascinating how you got started. And you didn't actually start this thinking like 10 years ago, thinking this is what you were going to be doing. I know you come from a consulting world and a consulting background. So tell everybody a little bit about what you were doing before and what put you into this business, because oftentimes with entrepreneurs, there's something that happens that makes you think, wow, this is something I need. I want to start this business because I think other people are going to need it too. So what was that? Tell us a little bit about that journey.
All right. So yes, I'm not medical. My background actually began in aerospace as an executive level
Aerospace.
position.
Hold on, we got to stop and pause for 1 second. Like, did you guys hear that? Aerospace. He started in aerospace. Okay. And now we're going into total
medical.
health. I love
yes.
that.
So after 20 years with a major defense contractor, aerospace defense contractor, I decided to take what I had learned in that world on the road and become a consultant.
Okay.
And I did that for about 10 years, and a lot of travel, was rarely home, and it was actually starting to wear on me. So I went back into the aerospace world and decided I didn't like that again.
Right.
Now I had a taste of what it was like to actually do something on my own and help people. While I wasn't doing this, I was helping companies get better, get stronger, and it just felt good. So in early 2020, when the pandemic hit,
Right.
I was actually still working as a consultant in Boston, and the whole world shut down.
Right.
Couldn't get on an airplane, so my wife and I sat in the house, and I was twiddling my thumbs for about 3 months, and I think she got tired of watching that. And we just decided, I mean, my entire life I've wanted to do something that was just mine. And my wife was 100% supportive of it, so we went down this path. Now, how we chose this, both of us have always been into fitness and taking care of ourselves, and we had experimented with IVs with another company and just loved the concept.
Right.
But then we wanted to take it to the next level, to what we were talking about earlier.
Right.
Not just do IVs and not just target people who may have drank too much and need a hangover IV the next day, but
Right.
everything, anything that's going on with a person, how can we help them?
The preventative medicine.
Yes,
So,
yes.
so you started this business in or you had the idea in 2020 after the pandemic hit. So you took this sort of crisis and turned it around to create an opportunity. What was that decision tree like for you, and like what was the first step that you took to get started? And obviously, with your background of consulting and helping other businesses grow, you have a little bit of an idea of what you need to do to get started. So what did you do?
Yeah, so I'm an operations person from the industry, and that's what I taught other companies. Getting us started, the journey was kind of difficult. I mean, first, obviously, we had to decide on what we wanted to do, and we just felt so drawn to this and this field. My wife is medical. We joke, and I do the operations side. She's the one that makes sure I don't go home and end up in an orange jumpsuit
That's
someday.
perfect. You have to have that person.
Yeah. And she's very involved in running the business too. And I think actually picking this field and then deciding where we're going to do it. And there were so many things that needed to be done that I had never thought of. Picking the right location, understanding what our demographic was, how do we make money, how do we help people and do something we love, yet still be able to take care of our family. So a lot of the things that I had taught went into helping lay out the foundation for what we were going to do.
Right.
And then we just honestly just jumped in. We went and found a place and
Just
did
get in the car and drive.
Yep, exactly.
You gotta make it happen.
Yes.
So, thinking about being a business owner and an entrepreneur and jumping into this boat, you're wearing a lot of different hats. You're a dad, you're a husband, you are creating this business. And so you being an operations guy, you also have to think about the sort of soar with your strength mentality, what you're great at, maybe what you're not so great at. What are you going to outsource? Where are you going to seek help? And you have to do that so that, number one, you don't burn out, and then also so that you give your business an opportunity to thrive, because you can't do everything. So what has that process been like for you as you're trying to figure out and delineate what you're going to do versus what your wife is going to do, and then how you're going to build your business and either hire other people to come on and help you or outsource certain functions?
Okay. Yeah, so my strength, what I feel is my strength, is the operations side, helping make sure that things run smoothly, efficiently, that we're not wasting time, wasting materials. All of the things that you would do in a typical manufacturing environment apply here. They apply everywhere. I'm also, I love people. So working with our clients that come in, the people that work for us, with us, is just something I enjoy doing. But then thinking about, again, the name of the company, VIP, we want everybody that walks in that door to feel like they are the person that's supposed to be there right now, and we're there to take care of them.
That's
so
great.
picking staff, picking people that are good at starting IVs and understanding what we do. Yes.
It's kind of a scary thing.
It can be, yes. And
Some people don't like
Speaking
needles.
of,
So.
how are you
a
feeling?
lot of people.
We're going to do like a little
great.
check-in.
Yeah.
Melanie,
Doing awesome.
feeling good?
Yeah.
Going to jump on the couch?
I am.
Have a Tom Cruise moment?
Yeah, soon.
Okay. All right.
And then strengths, I mean, that's kind of what I bring to the table. My wife, she being medical, she understands, and being very athletic and having a long
absolutely.
history in competitive sports, she understands the human body. She understands the medical side of the legal issues and what we can and cannot do. And she's also tech savvy, so taking care of our website and the things that I never had to do in my role, because we had people that did that and I never got involved in it.
Right.
She does.
it all.
She does. She's
Wow.
she's kind of the backbone of the company. I just
You're the pretty
yeah, I'm the
face.
pretty face. And then things that I never thought of, marketing. My thought of marketing is go knock on doors and talk to people.
Right.
And then I started to understand the power of digital marketing, and I was clueless. So there's where we start thinking about, how do I outsource? How do I get the right things? I was told early on that one of the hardest things that I was going to have to do was spend money on marketing, because there's not an immediate return on that investment. It takes some time.
Right.
And that was so true. But the conversation was that same conversation. The guy told me, you have to do it. You have to take that punch in the gut every month, and you have to find a way to cover the marketing. Just make sure you're doing it in the right places.
Oh, absolutely.
So those types of things I had no clue how to do. So I found people to help me.
And as an operations person, I mean, the first thing you have to think about is, who is your target market?
Right.
Who is the person that you're actually trying to attract? And then what do you need to do to attract that person and get their attention? And with so much going on in media, it's kind of like social media snacking. Everybody's just kind of getting bits and pieces. And you know what? That's why it does take a lot of time, because it's hard to capture somebody's attention. So
Exactly.
I'm glad that you were able to be convinced that that is actually necessary, because I think your guy was right in saying, it's going to be hard for you at first, but just keep doing that, because this is not something anybody is really aware of. So that's why you have to kind of educate and teach people.
Exactly. The education side of it, because who knows, they can just walk into a clinic on the street and sit down and say, I want an IV.
Right.
Most people think they have to be sick and go to the hospital to get this.
Absolutely.
So we're the exact opposite.
Yeah. So how have you educated the market, and what have you found that works for you and really driving folks to your business and getting people to understand the benefits?
So we try to describe everything on our website. In our marketing, we try to describe, like this Myers cocktail, what's in it, what is it doing for you. We do all of that digitally. But then we work a lot of events. We'll go to...
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, we'll go to concerts. We have a wedding coming up, a bridal shower, all the bridesmaids.
Whose idea was that? That's a great idea. Concerts, bridal showers,
anything.
Do you do it before the event? So, because
I mean,
surely it's
Yes.
good before you have a
absolutely.
weekend in Vegas or
Bachelor
something.
party.
Absolutely.
So you recover quicker, and you
Absolutely.
could do it the 3 nights.
Give them
or
the card, hey.
however long you're in Vegas.
yeah.
So what happens, yes, when let's say it is a drinking, not that anybody here would do that night, your body is completely depleted of vitamins and fluids, period.
Right.
So the next day when you wake up, this upset stomach, the headache, the nausea, all of that is because you've gotten rid of all the fluids and vitamins in your body.
Right.
So we replenish that. But if you were to come in before a night like that.
Before, not after.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's why a Friday
Okay.
is a great time to do that.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Friday happy hour.
If you
It's
know
a
you're going to have a
pre-party.
hard weekend.
You know what?
come to
This
it.
is the pre-party. The pre-party at VIP.
This is it. This is it.
Listen, let's do something with that.
So like a sporting event too. If someone
do.
was going to
Yep.
go mountain biking for 10
We have-
hours, it'd be
Yes.
a great time to go do this.
So we have another IV that we call our athletic performance, or our pregame bag, and it's designed specifically to help a person get through a very physical, strenuous activity like that.
I love
we
that.
have guys that come in before long bike rides, before weightlifting competitions, anything like that. If there's something going on in your life that is causing your body pain or issues, we can design an IV to help before or after.
Nice. What about pregnant mothers?
We do have
'Cause that seems like it'd be great for them.
we do. We have prenatal protocols that our doctor has written for us that allow us to take care of depending on the trimester, the symptoms that a expected mother would have.
That's
Amazing.
That's great. You just offer so much. So, in a lot of ways, Greenlight Tax Group and VIP Total Health and Hydration, we're a lot alike because you take care of the body and we take care of the financial health and well-being of your business. And so, when we approach a client, we're talking about KPIs, key performance indicators. You're doing the same thing, but within our body. So we're talking about, what's driving profit, what's eating up profit, things like that, how to dial it up and dial it down. We are looking at asset protection, business succession planning. So when you're thinking about the health and well-being of your business, and you being an operations guy, and I know you're a numbers guy, you've got lots of spreadsheets. What are you looking at to help you gauge, where you need to put your resources so that you can grow your business or dial it back? And is there anything in particular about that really stresses you out that has made you think, gosh, I really need some help with this?
So the KPIs for me are pretty simple. It's about cash flow and revenue, and is what we're doing actually profitable? But then on the other side, the actual client side, customer feedback is huge for us. We look for reviews,
referrals, and
absolutely.
Retention. Like how many times are they coming back? Are you guys measuring that?
Yes, and we sell memberships as well. So how many of those are we selling? Those people actually are coming in very often. Yeah, and that's a good sign.
Oh, absolutely.
If we're doing it well. So in the second part of that question, you talked about. I'm sorry, I missed it.
So really thinking about, what is it? Is there anything that stresses you out about that?
Yes.
Because, whenever, being the idea guy and the one that's sort of the visionary and sort of futuristic thinking about the value and how you're going to serve your clients, and juggling, again, all the hats that you're wearing, looking at the financial health of your company and all of the components that feed into that, right? Because it's not just one thing. I mean, you can be getting a lot of customers and generating a lot of revenue, but if your expenses, are too high, then we've got to dial it back and look at that, what's driving that, and how do we adjust so that we can continue to maintain, but then also grow.
And that's exactly what I do. I mean, you described it perfectly. We know we have more than just the IVs. We do, like you said earlier, regenerative medicine. We do hormone therapy. We do aesthetics, skin care. We do a lot of different things. So I actually look at those individually.
Oh, that's
and
good.
I look at those factors that you're talking about. What is my cost? What is my repeat business? What is my total revenue? And based on what I'm learning, and I'm learning a lot, we've only been open for a couple of years, and each time I take a look at the numbers and how is each one performing, it tells me something new, it seems. So do I focus more on IVs in my marketing this month, or do I focus more on regenerative medicine? And I make those decisions. I'm kind of a strategy guy, you're right. So I think about where I need to be 2 to 3 years from now. And then I look at those numbers monthly and quarterly. And then when I think the time's right, I make adjustments. I either shift my efforts to one or the other, depending on what's lagging, what's doing well.
Right.
It sounds like if you're getting stressed out, you just need an IV, right?
I do.
More
I do.
vitamins.
I do. And I honestly, I get an IV probably once a week.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, I would too if I was you. I mean, why not?
It helps.
I would. Do you do it on Fridays or Mondays?
Yes, sometimes. You're asking me to tell on myself, aren't you?
Prepare for the
So,
weekend.
I mean, you're a client of ours, so we know a little bit about your business, and we've been working together, I don't know, maybe 6 months, maybe a little bit less. But thinking back to when we kind of first forged a relationship, what was there like one thing that was constantly like stressing you out, or something that was going on that made you go, I surrender, I'm not going to do this anymore, I'm going to outsource this piece of my business to experts who can handle it and take care of this piece for me?
So the whole accounting and tax planning side of the house, having worked for large corporations and having been a consultant, my taxes at the end of the year were easy.
Right, because you were just W-2.
W-2, some 1099.
That's your tax plan.
Exactly, and just make sure that I pay my taxes on time. Going into this world and seeing the complexity that it introduced, there are so many things I didn't think about. And a profit and loss statement, for example, again, these are the types of things that in my previous life I didn't have to do. So
Right.
I went to the University of Google and figured out how to do it. But even at that,
aerospace has nothing to do with profit and loss,
it,
right?
no.
Doesn't have to do with. I mean, that is like way.
No, it's still
like
an operation.
Einstein stuff.
They build stuff, they sell stuff, so
Right.
there is a profit and loss there. But they have entire departments that are dedicated to doing just that,
Right.
accounting
You're
and
not-
finance.
That wasn't.
I was
your-
operation.
That wasn't your function.
Yes. So I had to learn how to do these things, and as the business started growing and I started to see how complex it was, I knew I was getting in over my head. So that's where you guys came in.
Yes.
I needed somebody to help me plan. I don't want to wait until the end of the year and find out that I messed it up all year long. I want to know
Right.
ahead of time. I want to make adjustments, just like we were talking earlier.
Absolutely.
Quarterly, monthly,
Yes.
whatever the case may be.
And that's where we are. But I will tell you, when you came on board, you were structured properly as an S corp. So that was good. We were starting off right. And you're right, there is a lot of complexities about your situation as a business owner, but there's also a lot of opportunity. So as long as you're structured right and you can put the right pieces in play and measure all along the way, it's really going to help you out. And that's the goal.
At that point, it was a function of I didn't know what I didn't know. And that's
Right.
where you guys came in.
Right.
Now you're showing me what I should be doing, how I should be doing it, and it's very helpful.
It's
But
going to
it's
be
so hard to go back and fix it if you don't do it right the first time.
Right.
right.
The structure
side.
structure side, I had done some research and I knew that I was going down the right path, but once I got there, I didn't know what to do. And this is where
Yes.
Emery and crew have helped me a lot.
Yes, absolutely. So thinking about like kind of getting back to the health and wellness side, again, you're wearing a lot of different hats. You're doing a lot of different things. How do you manage your stress? I know that you get the benefit of having these vitamin cocktails regularly. What else do you do to manage your stress?
So, we didn't say it earlier. You mentioned that I have kids. I've got
You do. You have twins,
3-year-old twins.
3 years old?
3 years old.
3-year-old
Wow.
twins.
And honestly, you would think that would add to the stress, but it doesn't. To go home and sit and watch these little kids like take a bath, throw
Right.
water all over the floor, I laugh. It's funny.
Yes.
That's when you don't need TV. You just
Exactly,
kids to watch.
exactly. And then, of course, my wife and I support each other completely. So she can tell when I'm stressing, and she'll sometimes take some things off my plate, or she'll get a sitter. She and I
that's
will go
good.
to dinner, we'll go hang out. We spend a lot of time focusing on the family, and that's a huge stress relief, because at the end of the day, being a business owner, an entrepreneur, has been a dream of mine for my entire life. But what I have figured out is that you can't do it alone.
No.
You need help.
You gotta have-
And so she and I are joined at the hip on everything we're doing. And then we have the family, the kids to lean back on. So
Sounds like a
trying to
good
find that
support
balance.
system.
Yeah.
Trying to find that balance has been the key.
And so thinking about that and, the transition from deciding and making the decision, and I'm sure that was a long talk between you and your wife, okay, hon, I think I'm going to take the leap and start this business. We've heard many, many times that failure is our best lesson.
Yeah.
So can you share some things that might have happened early on as you were forming and creating this business that you did at the time thinking this is a great idea, I'm super excited about it, only to find out, man, hindsight is 2020. I wish I wouldn't have had done that, and it maybe cost you a lot in terms of time, money, or resources. But after the fact, you were like, wow, I learned a lot from that. So grateful for this experience. Can you share some of that
So-
has helped you get to where you are?
Yeah, going back to my operations days in large companies, what you just described is what I taught people.
Oh,
You're
wow.
going to fail. So take those failures, and there's an old story about Thomas Edison inventing the light bulb. He was asked late in his life how he dealt with all the failure, having that experiment fail 2,000 times or whatever the number was, some insane number.
Right.
And he said, I never failed. He said, every single time that I ran the experiment, I learned what not to do the next time. And that's kind of been my business mindset since I started learning about operations. Let's try something hard. Let's try something difficult. Let's fail. But when we fail, let's turn that into a success, because
Right.
we're going to grow off of it.
I love that.
And I've applied that to everything. I mean, we've chosen some different services that we tried to offer that just did not work. People didn't want them. Well, it cost me money and time and effort to find that out. But now that I know that, it guided me in the direction that we are going now. I started finding those things that actually fit our overall philosophy and our strategy, and we're starting to hone in on exactly what VIP is. So all of those failures, I mean, they're hard when they happen, but if you learn from them, those are the nuggets. Those are
I really like that. I mean, so it's almost like, and I feel like I should teach my kids this. You're going to fail.
You are.
Don't be afraid to fail. Be excited to fail, because then you get an opportunity to learn.
True.
And I think that a lot of people do have a fear of failure, which oftentimes could cause paralysis or the idea that they're just not going to do something because they don't want to fail. And that's the biggest mistake.
That is. I mean, if you're not failing, you're probably not pushing yourself hard enough.
You're not trying.
It's that simple.
So kind of coming off of that, thinking about entrepreneurs who want to get started, or maybe they were in your shoes a while ago working with a big firm and they have this dream of being an entrepreneur, what advice would you give them? What would you say to them?
Oh, that's a long list.
It is a long list.
I think finding something that you're passionate about. This is something that we're very passionate about. We enjoy doing. You know, it's always been said that if you enjoy what you're doing at work, it's almost like you're not working. I mean, that's important, believing in what you do. And then do some research, some homework, understand where your weaknesses are.
Prepared.
And because and again, recognize that it's not going to go smooth. A lot of companies fail in that first year because they didn't plan properly, they don't understand the cash flow needs, they understand what you're getting into, study it, and then jump in and just don't accept no for an answer.
Don't be afraid.
Exactly. You
I love that.
Be afraid.
So Mel, how are you feeling?
Doing well.
Feeling good? We still got a little drip going.
A little bit left. Am I supposed to be hungry, or is that just lunchtime?
It could be. It is lunchtime, though, isn't it?
Lunchtime.
Like, does it make me hungry too?
I love that. Okay, so now I want to have a little fun. I want to get into some lightning round of questions. Are you game?
Okay.
You can do it. Come on. So I want to know, we're just trying to kind of get a little bit more insight into who you are and like what makes you tick. So what's your favorite movie?
Braveheart.
I love, that's my husband and my son's favorite movie. What's your favorite book? Or what book are you reading right now, one or the other?
I don't have time to read right now, but my favorite book, honestly, this is going to show that I'm a little bit of a geek.
I love that.
It's called...
We knew you were a geek when you said aerospace.
Right.
Sorry.
Well, it's geek geared towards operations and business. It's called Getting the Right Things Done. It's a leader's guide to strategy.
That to me seems like the quintessential book for anybody who is in operations.
It is.
What's it called?
Getting the Right Things Done.
Getting the Right Thing Done. Okay, I'm going to write that down.
I want to say you're probably reading lots of books, but they're 3-year-old level.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, and they have one sentence per page.
Right.
I love it.
And they have their own favorite books.
Exactly.
So I have a guess to this, but I'm going to reserve my answer until you tell me. Did you make your bed this morning?
Absolutely.
And you know why I know that?
Why?
Because you're a Marine.
This is true.
Did you do that because you're a Marine, or would you think you'd do it anyway?
I started it in boot camp, yes.
You started in boot camp. So,
and it hasn't changed.
So does your Michelle make the bed, or do you make the bed, or do y'all do it
She's on her side, I'm on my side.
And y'all,
we do
I love
it together. Absolutely.
Okay. I don't know.
Together, even
We
make
do.
the bed. That's nice.
Yes. Okay. Melanie didn't make her bed this morning.
I looked at it. I was going to.
I already asked her. She didn't. Okay. Have you ever been skydiving? I'm going to say yes.
No.
What?
No.
Really?
That airplane is going to land.
Okay.
Oh.
I would have gotten that wrong on the game show.
Just because he's a Marine, I'm like, maybe not.
Because
maybe
he's a
not,
Marine, I would say yes.
Yeah. They don't need to jump out. They leave that.
We jump out of helicopters usually
Yes.
when they're a little bit lower.
A little bit lower. Okay. So are you a morning person or a night person?
I'm a morning person, completely.
How early do you get up?
Typically, if I'm not up by 5, I feel like I've slept in.
Wow. And do you just automatically get up?
I
or
do.
alarm
I wake
go off?
up.
Is Michelle still asleep? Or
Yes, on the weekends. She'll get up a little bit later, but she's more of a night person.
Okay.
She'll stay up and she's more productive in the evenings. I'm more productive in the morning.
Isn't that funny how that works? Like you're just kind of balanced out. I love that. Okay.
Great, though, for the kids, too.
It is.
Like, someone takes them in the morning, someone takes
Well,
them in
that's
the
probably why
evening.
she's a night person, because they go to bed early and she's like, okay, now I need to decompress.
Yes, unwind.
So I
Yeah.
totally get that. So if you weren't doing what you're doing now, you're not an entrepreneur and you're not in aerospace, and you could be anything you want. You could be a rock star, you could be a professional athlete, you could be an artist, or maybe like the director of the CIA. What would you want to do?
Can I roll the clock back a few hundred years?
Yeah, 1,000%.
I don't know if I should
You
reveal
should.
this.
Now you have to, because we're all intrigued.
I am so fascinated by Vikings,
Wow.
by the Viking lifestyle. Just the
You would, so would
the
you
command,
be
the control,
Does that mean you would be a Viking?
possibly.
I think you need to be
if I,
my youngest son.
Braveheart, so.
yeah.
Yes.
I love that part of world history. I mean, everything was so decided by the strong personalities in different groups, and the Vikings were they were dominant in
Yeah.
everything they did. So I loved it. I love that idea.
That is an answer that I didn't anticipate, but that's very cool. Well, thank you so much for being on our show and under the Greenlight podcast, and telling us about your business and your experience as a business owner. So tell people, how can they find you? How can they get started? If they're interested in learning more about this, what's your website and what's the best way to get started?
Okay, the website is www.viptotalhealth.com. In it, we go through all the different services, and it's just been rewritten. We're very proud. It looks very nice now.
It does look nice.
It's launched. I don't know if you've seen the latest. It launched this morning, I
was
believe.
looking at it this morning.
Okay.
Great.
Let's go back and look.
It has descriptions of everything that we do, and if you're curious, I think that's the right place to start. But our phone number is in there, and like I said earlier, our staff is, or a lot of times myself or Michelle will be there. But typically it's one of the staff members, our manager, or one of the other staff members. They can answer any question you might possibly have. But like you're about to find out, the real way to understand whether or not this works is to do it.
Right.
Go read, understand, get some coaching from somebody that works with us about what your actual need is, according to what's going on in your life, and then try one. I have never had somebody say, I wish I hadn't done that. Every
Right.
single time. They're like, wow, this is amazing.
They feel better. And you just said a little bit earlier that she's going to feel even better tomorrow and the
Right.
next day than she does immediately.
So, yes, we have some IVs, the hangover bag, for example. It is pretty comical sometimes to see people walk in the morning,
like, ugh.
barely hold their head up, and get out of their chair 30 minutes later and walk out ready to go out drinking again.
Ready to like party on.
Which, yeah, that's kind of dangerous, right?
Yeah.
But some of these others that are more about just general health, you'll feel good here in a little while, but tomorrow morning is when the full effect is going to hit her. She's going to wake up ready to take on the world tomorrow.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
I don't know whether to go to happy hour tonight or go mountain biking. Which one?
I think you can
Both.
do both with this cocktail.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that
all.
is all for our show. Thank you so much for coming.
Absolutely.
I really
My
appreciate
pleasure.
it.
Thank
and
you.
I hope all of you found this inspiring, and we encourage you to continue to learn from your mistakes and celebrate your successes.